Good afternoon, Chairman Adolph, Chairman Markozik, and members of the committee, and thank you for the opportunity to address you here today to share my 2 cents on the 2014-2015 budget. My first area of concern is with the governor's proposed budget is the Correction Department. The governor has proposed to increase the line item for state correctional institutions by over $78 million, bringing the total line item to over $1.7 billion. While this includes over $7 million for enhanced mental health treatment to inmates, which I support, this means that over $70 million more of the taxpayers' money is going towards housing our inmates. In a time when we have residents who are barely able to make ends meet, I want to be sure that this additional money is absolutely necessary, because quite frankly, I'd rather see that money coming back to our schools or helping in other areas that we're obligated to fund. The additional funding especially concerns me given the department's testimony in front of the Senate Appropriations Committee just last week, where they stated they're putting final touches on a pilot program to give inmates access to electronic tablets. Prisoners are incarcerated because they have done something wrong. What kind of punishment is it that allows them to purchase a tablet to listen to music or check emails? I find this kind of fringe benefit both insulting and infuriating, and can't stand by and allow prisoners to basically be rewarded while my law-abiding constituents live paycheck to paycheck. One area that is of personal significance to me is the growing epidemic of opioid and heroin abuse in the Commonwealth. I've had several friends who have battled addiction with these substances, and sadly, some of them are no longer with us today. While we in the legislature are exploring ways of keeping these drugs off the streets, the most effective tool in fighting this battle is a well-funded and trained police force. It's obvious that the governor is committed to this issue also, given his proposed increase to the Department of Drug and Alcohol programs, and I would like to thank him for that. However, I think that it's going to take a lot more than what he has proposed to produce any kind of positive result. I'd like to see some of that proposed increased funding for the prisons redirected to programs like this to help keep people out of our prison system in the first place. I think it would be a far better use of taxpayer money. Next, I have some concerns about the New Choices, New Options program within the Department of Labor and Industry, which the governor has proposed to zero out from last year's $500,000 appropriation. This program has been incredibly successful over the years at helping single parents and out-of-work individuals obtain gainful employment. The program at the Delaware County Community College has a proven track record of success, and I believe it is critical to the job market of the Commonwealth to at least restore that funding level, if not increase it. I'd also like to commend the governor on his increased funding for the Department of Environmental Protection programs, specifically $2 million more for the Clean Air Fund and $7 million increase for the environmental protection operations. Air quality is a large problem in Delaware County, which has led to increased levels of asthma in our children. By increasing the funding of these programs, I believe that we can address this issue of poor air quality in the Southeast and reverse this trend of health issues for our children. Another issue of interest to me is that of the safety and security of our rail infrastructure in Pennsylvania and adequate funding of our emergency responders in the affected communities. There have been several incidents within the state recently involving crude oil carrying trains, including one in Philadelphia and one in the Pittsburgh region, that actually resulted in an oil spill. We need to make sure that our local emergency management agencies and first responders are ready for this type of incident and are properly equipped to deal with them. Because of these recent incidents, I've called upon the Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee to hold hearings on this issue next week in Delaware County, but I wanted to put this issue on the Appropriation Committee's radar. I realize that funding for this type of concern would likely be from federal sources or a hybrid of federal and state money, but I do think it would be a good idea to keep this in the back of everyone's minds as we move forward in our future. In closing, I appreciate the time and forum, Mr. Chairman, and I believe that my requests within the context of a $20 billion budget amount to a drop in a bucket, and would appreciate your attention to them as you move forward with crafting our 2014-2015 general fund budget. And I thank you for your attention here today.